You are 3 months into your weight loss journey, maybe six. At first, the weight loss was great. You felt like you finally found the magic button. But now, for the last 4 weeks, that scale hasn't moved a single pound. You're eating the same, you're taking your shots, but you're stuck. And you start wondering, is the medication not working anymore? Is my metabolism broken? Or did I do something wrong? At that point, most people, even your doctor, may tell you to just eat less or work harder. But as a weight loss doctor, I'm here to tell you that your body might be locked in a state of metabolic resistance. Today, I want to explain something that most people are not talking about: the hidden link between GLP-1 medications and insulin resistance, and how that can quietly stall your weight loss. Let me ask you, have you hit a plateau on weight loss journey? Share your experience in the comments. First, let's define a weight loss stall. If the scale doesn't move for 4 days, that's not a stall. That's just biology. A true clinical weight loss stall is no change in body weight for at least 4 to 6 weeks despite continued medication use and no major change in calorie intake. Now, here's something important: weight loss is never linear. In clinical trials, Wegovy or Semaglutide showed 15% average weight loss. Zepbound or Tirzepatide showed around 22% average weight loss. In these trials, there were weight loss plateaus, there were slow phases, and there were weight fluctuations. So remember, your body adapts, and adaptation is not failure. Here's where this gets interesting. Sometimes the stall isn't just adaptation, sometimes it's metabolic, and that's where insulin resistance comes in. Think of weight loss stall as your body's safety brake. Your body doesn't realize you're trying to get healthy, it thinks you are trapped in a state of starvation. To save you, your brain turns on a battery saver mode. It slows down your metabolism and makes your muscles burn as little fuel as possible when you move. The biggest part of this safety plan involves insulin. Insulin is your body's storage hormone. When your brain thinks you are in danger, it keeps your insulin levels high. The hidden link for weight loss stall is mostly insulin resistance. Think of insulin as a key. Its job is to open the doors of your cells so that sugar can get in and be used for energy. Insulin resistance is like your body's cells going deaf to the message of insulin. Normally, when you eat, your body releases insulin to act like a key. This key opens the doors to your cells so that sugar can get inside and be burned for energy. When your cells are healthy, this happens quickly and your blood sugar stays stable. However, when you have insulin resistance, the locks on these cell doors become jammed. Even though your body is sending out plenty of insulin keys, they can't turn the locks. Since sugar can't get inside the cells to be burned, it just sits in your bloodstream, which is dangerous for your body. To fix this, your body panics and starts pumping out massive amounts of extra insulin, hoping that more keys will eventually force the doors to open. While this might keep your blood sugar levels looking normal on a basic blood test, having all that extra insulin floating around is a huge problem for weight loss. Remember, insulin is a storage hormone. Its main job is to tell your body to save energy, not burn it. As long as your insulin levels are high because your cells are ignoring the signal, your body stays in a chemical lockdown where it refuses to burn fat, leading to that frustrating weight loss stall. It is physically impossible for the body to burn fat efficiently when insulin is constantly spiked. Even on a GLP-1 medication, if your baseline insulin is too high, you're fighting an uphill battle. Since insulin is a storage hormone, when insulin levels are elevated, fat burning slows, fat storage increases, hunger signals can rise, and energy crashes happen. This is insulin resistance. Your body needs more and more insulin to do the same job. And this is incredibly common. If you're wondering how common is insulin resistance, it's an epidemic. Estimates suggest over 80% of American adults have some degree of metabolic dysfunction. The risk for insulin resistance goes up if you have PCOS, prediabetes, central obesity or belly fat, sleep apnea, chronic stress, sedentary lifestyle, or family history of diabetes. But here's the problem: most doctors are checking the wrong lab test. I'll show you exactly which labs to ask for later in the video. One of the most common misconceptions is that normal blood sugar equals metabolic health. Many people assume that because their blood sugar or glucose or hemoglobin A1C, which is the 3-month average of blood sugar, is within the standard range, their body is processing the energy perfectly. But here's the reality: your blood sugar is actually a lagging indicator. Your body will do almost anything to keep your blood sugar stable, including pumping out massive invisible amounts of insulin to force those levels down. By the time your blood sugar actually starts to rise on a standard blood test, your metabolism has likely been struggling in the background for many years. Blood sugar is the very last sign to change when something goes wrong, as your body considers stable blood sugar as a high priority for survival. So it will do everything in its power to keep that number within a tight, normal range. When you begin to develop insulin resistance, your cells stop responding to the insulin you produce. In response, your pancreas compensates by pumping out much higher levels of insulin than normal. For years, this extra insulin is successful as it forces your blood sugar to stay at a healthy level. Because most standard medical checkups only measure fasting glucose or blood sugar and hemoglobin A1C, they only see the normal results. They don't see the massive amount of insulin work happening in the background to keep it that way. You can have perfect blood sugar while having dangerously high levels of insulin. By the time your blood sugar finally starts to rise on a lab test, it means your pancreas has finally become exhausted and can no longer produce enough insulin to overcome the resistance. At that point, metabolic dysfunction has already been present for a decade or more. If you want to know why your weight loss stalled, you need the HOMA-IR score. HOMA-IR stands for Homeostatic Model Assessment for Insulin Resistance. It's a simple calculation using two numbers: fasting insulin and fasting glucose. HOMA-IR score of 2 to 2.5 suggests insulin resistance. Now, fasting insulin is a test most doctors miss. If your fasting insulin is high, you are insulin resistant regardless of how perfect your blood sugar is. Optimal levels of fasting insulin are around 6. Anything above 10 is considered suggestive of insulin resistance. Let me know in the comments if your doctor checked your fasting insulin levels. We also look for lipid ratios. You can find your triglycerides and HDL on any basic lipid panel. Simply divide your triglycerides by your HDL. The closer this is to 1, the better it is. The lower the ratio, the more insulin sensitive or metabolically healthy you are. If your triglycerides are high and your HDL or good cholesterol is low, that's a massive red flag for insulin resistance as well. So, with insulin resistance, your fasting blood sugar may be normal, but your fasting insulin will be high, your HOMA-IR score will be high, triglycerides will be high, and your HDL may be low. Now, this isn't just a theory. The SURMOUNT and STEP clinical trials, the big studies for Tirzepatide and Semaglutide, showed that while these drugs improve insulin sensitivity, the people who lost the most weight were the ones who saw the biggest drop in their fasting insulin levels. So, how do we treat insulin resistance? Strength training. Muscle is a glucose sponge. Muscle is the primary place where your glucose is burned. If you aren't strength training, your body's sponge to absorb sugar is small. Strength training 2 to 3 times per week can remarkably improve your insulin sensitivity. More muscle means better insulin sensitivity. Protein intake. Protein preserves lean mass. Protein has the lowest insulin response. This is one of the macronutrients of the food that does not spike the blood sugar. At least 100 grams of protein daily can help you keep your muscle fed and your body metabolically healthy. Sleep optimization is key. Less than 6 hours of sleep increases insulin resistance significantly. Avoid ultra processed foods and carbohydrates. Focus on fiber, whole foods, and avoid ultra processed foods. Order of the food matters. Eat your protein and your fiber before your carbohydrates. This slows down the sugar entry into the bloodstream, meaning less insulin is needed. Strategic fasting, giving your body windows where insulin is at zero, allows the cells to start cleaning those locks again. And then consider medications like metformin and GLP-1 GIP medications like Wegovy or Zepbound, if clinically indicated. These medications help improve insulin sensitivity. Remember, if your weight loss stalled, it does not mean you failed or medication failed or your metabolism is broken. It may mean your body adapted. And insulin resistance needs attention. And here's the hopeful part: insulin resistance is reversible with muscle, with sleep, with stress reduction, with the right medication strategy. Weight loss isn't a straight line, it's a series of plateaus and breakthroughs. If you're stalled, don't blame your willpower. Look at your insulin levels. Insulin resistance is a big piece of the puzzle, but it's not the only one. In my upcoming videos, I'm going to talk about cortisol and the GLP-1 connection, specifically why stress can make you gain weight even when you're eating right. Subscribe and hit the notification bell as you won't want to miss that one. I'm Dr. Bazgha Khalid, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay happy, healthy, and well. Bye for now.